Hey everybody, it's Mary Rondenet, the owner of Blooming Rose Healing and the founder of WhaleBreathing. So I have a question. So today is Educational Wednesday with WhaleBreathing, of why we should breathe. So here's a question. In the world of stress, where in our body and what in our body is creating the stress? Does anybody know? Where does it come from? And I'm going to kind of try and break this down into 3 levels. The first level is stress comes from a sporadic nervous system, where the nervous system is very... And what that does, it creates a message to the brain. Well, actually, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. The brain creates the sporadic of the nervous system. And then the nervous system goes crazy. And then the body goes into a shallow breathing. Because now we're in that fear or flight breath. Does that make sense? And what is really interesting about, I'm really starting to just kind of come on these videos more from a place of we don't know what we don't know. And a lot of us don't really understand why it's so important to have a breath coach or do breath work, which I call whale breathing. My work is a lot about conscious breathing. So back to that question. So where the nervous system comes from is our brain. And then that nervous system runs down our spine through, all the way through down to our feet. I mean, really all the way down through that body. And when the nervous system is in sporadic, fear or flight energy, it creates, like I said, a very kind of spastic energy. And energy in motion is emotion. So what happens is, and then as we're in that fear or flight, we're feeding it more. You're almost putting more, like they say, feeding the fire. We're really letting the body get into that momentum of stress. And then, then the ripple effect of stress, exhaustion, getting sick, being really reactive, being really afraid, that hopeless. It's kind of a dominoes effect. So a lot of you know that have been following me. I lost my mom in January to Alzheimer. And it's kind of making me also sit even with the energy of the brain and that nervous system and Alzheimer's and all these diseases that come from stress. And in my research, I was learning that the organ, one of the biggest organs, it is our biggest organ, is the brain. And that brain needs 20% more oxygen than the rest of the organ. Wow, that's a lot. And when we're in that shallow breathing, which a huge percentage of us are, we lose connection. We're not sending the oxygen up into the brain. And what happens then is, the brain ends up being deprived of oxygen, that nervous system. It's such a ripple effect. And then the nervous system starts to get into the more reactive mode. So what is so fascinating is that when we allow ourselves to get into the conscious, so whale breathing is conscious breathing. And what that means is diaphragmatic connected breath. We're using our diaphragm, the most amazing, most powerful pump in the body, to get our breath circulated. And through that circulation, we are bringing oxygen in and getting rid of the metabolic waste. So just think about that, you guys. You're using this amazing pump And it's going all the way down to the cellular level, but you realize the farthest thing, how far the diaphragm is from the brain, here, and how much we have to really work diaphragmatic breathing to keep that brain well nourished with oxygen. And I'm not going to say that not breathing creates Alzheimer's, because I'm not a scientist. I cannot speak that. But it is something to think about how I'm just kind of blown away by this body. The more I'm really taking it further, the breath, the research, the understanding, it's like just amazing. I'm just in awe how powerful our human body is. Yet, a lot of us don't know how to use it. And nobody's fault. It's no one's fault. It's just how we're all educated. I just stumbled into breathwork. Seriously, I had no idea. I just thought I was going to a class to just do some breath and meditation. It blew me away. And now here I am teaching it. So as we do diaphragmatic breathing and get into not only using that pump, we get into the beautiful rhythm of our breath. We create an amazing higher level of oxygen. And with that, then energy and motion is emotion, because the higher the vibrational oxygen level is, a lot of that lower dense energy can't sit in the body. So then things start moving. It starts moving. So with that, but also what's really beautiful, as we keep doing it and as we keep allowing, and it's not always easy, because you kind of, we have to, like I said, energy and motion is emotion. It's how do I allow myself to surrender to the muck within? And muck is not bad. It's just energy. But energy is emotion. And how do I let myself feel those emotions and allow this brain to get the vitality it needs from my breath? Because block energy gets in the way of our oxygen flow. And what gets in the way of that? Us. Because I don't want to surrender and breathe. So how do I make that easier? I reach out to somebody who understands this work, a breath coach, somebody that will sit with me and help me through it. Because sometimes it's going to be scary. But I know my body's worth the oxygen. My body is worth this vitality. My body is worth being connected. So look me up. I do classes all over. I'm doing, I do individuals. I also, just past weekend, I did something so special. It was a birthday gathering where they just wanted to celebrate their girlfriend and do breathing together. And it ended up being beautiful. And each of them walked away feeling so grounded and so aligned and so in the love of friendship. So I just think you guys should allow yourself to really think about, what does it mean to breathe consciously? What does it mean to allow myself to bring my car, which is my body, into the shop and get a reboot, a tune-up? Am I worth that? How often do you bring your car in? The body loves you. The body wants to live. And every dis-ease that comes our way is our body saying, hey, we're out of alignment. We need to get, back into alignment. And the best way to get into alignment is to breathe. And to really sit with that even question of your brain and how much the brain needs oxygen. And how, and not only, 20% more, because think of the work that brain does, and what it's responsible for. Your motor skills, the nervous system, I actually, there's just so much, it's just amazing. But it needs a lot of vitality and life to do that work. And how do I want to keep that, moving? I'm reading a book about the diaphragm, and it's just a book that specializes in how the diaphragm works. And each chapter, I'm just blown away at how powerful it is. And I'm coming to believe our diaphragm is like our conductor. Excuse me. The conductor of this body. And when you think of an orchestra, and you think of a conductor out of alignment, what happens to the music? It sounds terrible. It's out of whack. It's not, flowing. And we feel that. As human beings, we feel when music is out of whack. So, now bring that into the body. How does it feel when the conductor is not being utilized? Everything gets out of whack within the body. And then we don't feel good. So, I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope in some ways this educates you and really lets you think about this amazing body and the power of being, because it is beautiful and it is hard and sometimes frustrating and scary, but we do have the capacity to bring harmony and peace back and connect back to the hope, because hope is there. It's just a question of how do I find it? And that's a whole nother video. All right, you guys have a great week, and, look me up and take care. Bye-bye.